Hi, everybody. It's your professor, Melissa Qualls. I wanted to share with you some information that I think will really help you write the best essay possible, this research essay. So let me remind you that in a research essay, whenever you make a claim, and that is you're stating an opinion, whenever you are making a claim, you must support it with research, because this is a research essay. So, for example, if you make a claim that says modern art is unfortunately turned into this kind of hyperbole, exaggerated shock art, a great way to start your essay is by having a picture of what is known as the Piss Christ. This is a piece of art that for 2 decades now has really angered a lot of people. I mean, it's literally a crucifix in the artist's own urine. Now, this kind of photo, remember, we talked about how pictures can really elicit emotional reactions. We did that with the video. So if you want to include some photos from different articles or pieces of research to really engage your readers, please do. You would cite it the way you cite anything. So this comes from Hall Putsch at the back. I would look under H for Hall Putsch and their works cited page. And there she is, Amanda Hall Putsch. And so you would cite your photo from that article the exact same way you'd cite any information from that article. I hope that makes sense. So please, everybody, consider throwing in some photos. This writer does it a couple times to really bring home how contemporary art has lost its way. He calls it the fall of contemporary art, okay? So in this student's essay, we're gonna take a look at how well the student curates the information that he has. So just to give you a heads up, I'm really big lover of museums. I don't know about any of you out there, but we love to go to museums that are about American history, art museums. Our favorite is the one in Memphis. It's got the actual replication of the hotel room where Martin Luther King Jr. Stayed the night that he was killed. It's powerful. It's a really incredible museum. And, you know, with all museums, you know that, you know, they have the displays or they have the paintings or the sculptures, but there is a basement in that museum filled with artifacts that never make it on those floors. So the first thing a curator has to do in a museum is decide what is actually going to be visible for their audiences, right? So they have to pick out the specific pieces of art or the specific displays that they want visible. And then that curator has to decide there are a million things to talk about every painting or every sculpture or every display. So what information are they going to make visible to their visitors? Because they could say a million things, right? There's so much to say about everything. So they really have to be judicious and think carefully about what kind of information they include. You're doing the same with this essay. You're going to do all this research and you've got all this information, but you have to be careful. You can't just summarize all this information, right? Because then you're copying and pasting. You're not doing the hard work of really creating this essay. What you have to do is first pick and choose what information is going to make it into your essay. What is your overall point? What is your agenda? That's how you're going to pick out what information. And then what are you going to say about that information? How are you going to frame that information is really, really important. So this quiz, we are going to really take a very specific look into how a student writer uses their information, okay, and how not to lose your voice. Because I see it all the time with my students. They have a bunch of research and it's like they have disappeared, right? All they're doing is copying and pasting and summarizing what other people have to say about this issue. I don't want that to happen to you. You need to be in charge of the research. Don't let the research be in charge of you. So this is how to do that, okay? This student essay, I think he does a really, really good job being in charge of the information. Let me take a specific look at this paragraph. Let's take a look at this first sentence. It might be the artist's duty to break social norms, but it is also the artist's responsibility to convey an idea in their artwork, and that is the problem. Now, this is the student's own ideas. He has set up this argument. In this paragraph, he begins with his own claim. This is crucial. You should do this for every one of your body paragraphs. The first sentence should be your ideas, your curation, right? How do we know that this is his ideas? Because there's no author tag here. He's not saying according to this, according to that, and there's no parenthetical citation. We know that this is his words. Let's take a look at the second sentence. Many contemporary art pieces seem juvenile, a sort of rebellion against the status quo that is quote unquote simple-minded and often without much consideration as to quote unquote what purpose those norms have served. Now, we also know that now a lot of this is going to be probably his paraphrase of this particular source with some direct quotes. I love it when students do this. So when they don't have these really long sentences that they're quoting, but they are paraphrasing some of it and then directly quoting specific phrases that are really like striking. So what this student did, it was very clever. What he did is he read Horrigan and then he just kind of took some little passages, paraphrasing the rest, but directly quoting the passages he thought were most striking. Now we know that this is a direct quote because of the quotation marks, and we know that this is coming from an outside source. Look at that parenthetical citation. Now remember, whatever I see in here in these parentheses should be the first thing I see in the works cited page. So my assumption is I'm going to go to the H in his works cited page and I will see this source. Is that the truth? I come down here. Yep, there it is, Horrigan Benjamin, and now I know where to find this piece of information. He didn't put what's happened in modern art because then I would be confused. I would look under W for what's and I wouldn't be able to find it. He also didn't put Institute of Public Affairs Review because then I would be really confused, right? He did what I've said before in this class and in other quizzes. Please make sure whatever is in these parentheses is the first thing I see in your works cited page. Otherwise, we're going to be incredibly confused. All right, let's go back to that paragraph, right? So we've got his ideas, and then he's backing it up, paraphrasing and directly quoting. In other words, artists, in order to gain recognition and attention, merely seek to destroy but not create meaning and value. What I love about this is his ideas. But what he's doing is framing this piece of information, his source. He's giving us an explanation of what this quote means and an explanation that takes it a little bit further, makes sense of it. Now, this is what I want you to do. Don't just throw your research in there. Sometimes you need to unpack that research. Sometimes you need to explain that research. You're going to make connections between that piece of research and another point you want to make. This is really good writing, okay? Next, he says, the exhibits are often shallow and without layers of meaning or ideas. Again, his explanation. Really well done. Art apologist Horrigan himself admits that more of us in general public could appreciate contemporary art more if, whoops, he makes a little mistake here. We're going to forgive him for that, okay? If the ideas motivating it weren't so crushingly banal. Ooh, that's a really good quote. Nice job. Okay, so here we have this direct quote. Oops, sorry. I'm going to put that in green like I did above. Again, what he does is that he puts a lot of this in his own words, paraphrasing, but we know it's coming from Horrigan. And then he gives a direct quote. I really, really love this. Now, he doesn't have to do this again. Why not? Everybody, you took that quiz. because he's already mentioned the author's name in the sentence itself. So in this case, he does not need to give parenthetical citation because the author himself is mentioned in the sentence. Got it? But take a look at this beautiful paragraph. It begins with his ideas. He gives support for his ideas. He explains, pivots, supports again. Beautiful. I love this. Let's take a look at the next paragraph. Why then do artists produce such art if it lacks depth, meaning, or creativity itself? That is him. He's asking this question. It's clever. It's a clever way of a transitioning between one paragraph and another. If this works for you as a reader, if you're like, ooh, I like this, maybe try this for your essay, okay? The transition can be a question. The answer, in short, is because the art often pays. Again, him. We know this. There's no author tag. There's no parenthetical citation. He is being kind of cheeky. You can kind of hear his voice here, can't you? Like, I love this. Like, he's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. He's being a little like throwing shade at contemporary art. I kind of like this. For example, in 2006, Paul McCarthy's contemporary performance piece titled Rocky, which is a video of the artist repeatedly punching himself, sold for $108,000. Yikes. Okay, so now we know that this all is a paraphrase. Rocky is the title of the piece, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's a direct quote, okay? And this, because it's in his words, there are no other direct quotes. We have the parenthetical citation. We know this is not coming from his head, but from an outside source, but this is a paraphrase, right? In 2005, Mark Quinn's sculpture entitled Self, which is, here we go. There's a direct quote, but we know that this is, again, paraphrase of that information. We know that this is not common knowledge. He had to find this somewhere. So this is all a paraphrase with a direct quote. And he has this wonderful citation, parenthetical citation, and this one again, right? So once again, we have a really good topic sentence and a lot of support, mostly paraphrased. So this is really good. I want you to keep a couple of things in mind when you're writing your essay. One is you need to have research in every body paragraph, okay? So if you're making a claim, it needs to be supported by outside research. Only about 15 to 20%, you should go for like the 20% mark, should be directly quoted material. The rest should be paraphrased. So most of the information that you'll be putting in your essay, most of your research should be paraphrased. If you copy and paste all these direct quotes, you might have 40, 50, I've seen students do as much as 75% just copying and pasting from sources. Well, that's pretty easy, my friends. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You really need to process this information and make sense of it for us, okay? So you can't just like throw in a bunch of quotes. I want there to be some quotes for sure, but make sure that the majority of your information is going to be here. Take a look at all the blue, take a look at all the blue, right? It should be more paraphrasing than directly quoting. Otherwise, it's going to seem more like you just copied and pasted from your sources. So I hope that helps you with this quiz. In the quiz, I'm going to be asking you to take a look at a paragraph and identify what sentences are the student's own ideas and wording, what sentences are paraphrased from a source, and what sentences have direct quotes in them, okay? So good luck and take care. Reach out, please, if you have any questions or concerns about your own essay. Remember, rough drafts are due this coming up Sunday, okay? Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye.